Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi guys. Selamat datang ke channel saya, Salavis Viking. Okay guys, ni hari saya akan tunjukkan anda bagaimana servis ataupun maintaining uh, rail overhead model 2017. Tidak silap saya, Shimano Ocea Jigger size 2000, high gear HG. Okay guys, ini kira salah satu rail kira famous di kalangan pemain slow pitch jigging. Okey, tanpa membuang masa, jom kita lanjut. Alright guys, how you guys doing, and welcome back to my channel, Salavis Viking. Alright, today I'm gonna show you how to maintaining or servicing your Shimano Ocea Jigger 2000 sizes, and it was actually high gear model, and it was 2017, I believe. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And if you see this rail, it's quite a bit famous among slow fish jigging. And yeah, without further ado, let's get rolling. Oke guys, sebelum kita mula, pastikan anda sudah melengkapi semua bahan-bahan yang diperlukan, seperti grease, minyak untuk bearing, screwdriver, berus. Penting guys, sebab ia memudahkan kita untuk sapu grease di permukaan rail tanpa menggunakan jari. Dan jika anda boleh dapatkan tray seperti ini guys, ia lebih bagus, sebab jika anda membuat kerja di tray seperti ini, contohnya skru jatuh ataupun ada spring terlepas, kemungkinan besar dia akan landing di tray ini adalah tinggi. Jadi ia memudahkan anda untuk bekerja. Sebab percaya guys, kalau itu skru jatuh di lantai, bukan senang untuk cari, percayalah. Ibarat dia terus hilang, puff. Jadi kalau boleh, coba cari tray seperti ini dan coba buat kerja di atasnya. Okay, we start on the handle first. Alright guys, if you want to try remove this ball nut, make sure it's clockwise. It's a little bit different because mostly the clockwise is to tight your nuts. I mean not your nuts, but you know what I mean. Alright guys. Alright guys, if you can find a tray like this, it will be helpful a lot. I mean, even a tiny screw like this, if you drop on the floor, it can be a major headache to you. It can turn your day really upside down. So it will be nice if you can find a tray like this and do all the job inside the tray. So if this screw like falling off, it eventually will land it around this area, so it might help you to find it easier. Oke, pastikan guys, selepas membuka komponen ini, pastikan dia dalam satu grup seperti ini, terutamanya bagi yang beginner, jadi yang memudahkan anda untuk assembling balik semua part ya. Oke, kita start di area ini guys. Oke, luluskan skru ni. Ingat ya guys, step washer seperti ini pastikan di tempat yang betul. Oke, kita susun dia mengikut urutan, jadi yang memudahkan kerja. Oke. Alright, it has a 5 screw, and make sure you place in the really safe place. Ingat guys, di area sini ada satu bearing lagi. Alright guys, before you open this clip, make sure you put your thumb like this to secure all this area. It's like a preventing the clip to flying around, because it can be a really big problem for you if you lost it. This clip, see, like I told you, you have to secure this section. Otherwise this thing, it can fly and ruin your day, so be careful on that. So you can open the housing just like this. Wow. Alright, this thing has like 1 2 3 4 screws. You just simply undo the screw. Make sure this screw in a one group like this, so you know where you're gonna go before you assembling all the parts again. This is the pinion gear, and this is a docking. Okay, on this section guys, the screw, if you try to undo the screw, always remember it's a clockwise. The same cases with this ball nut. If you try to undo, make sure it's a clockwise. It has bearing with it. And a rubber seal. Okay. So that's it. Alright guys, before you start assembling all the parts, make sure you has a brush like this one, because it helps a lot. By using your hand, you cannot reach all the difficult section around your rail, but with this brush you simply like put like a tiny coating, and not much, it's like a tiny coating like that, so if the water can get inside, it will prevent from rusting. It's like make a protecting coating inside your rail, not too much, just like that. Okay, take your bearing, make sure it working properly. Properly. You can put some oil. Just a tiny drop, not much. And put your secure pin. It's same how to open it. Make sure you put your thumb like that and find something blunt like a screwdriver like this one, and you carefully put the edge inside. Right, it's all secure. Okay, it's all secure. Okay, and put a little bit grease. Okay, done. And we go on this section. Just put really thin coating of grease. Make sure all the grease cover up all the surface, so if water can get inside, it will prevent from rusting. It's a science. Make sure put a grease inside your one-way bearing. Alright, if you want your one-way bearing failure, try find the OEM parts for this bearing, because if you find like aftermarket bearing for this one, it's always not fit right. I don't know why, but try find the aftermarket, try find the OEM bearing for this one. And if you wanna try remove this bearing, you simply like slowly tapping from this side. And like me, I usually use a like a lubricant, like a WD-40, and I will spray inside this bearing and slowly push. Okay, so on this side, just put a tiny coating of grease. Right, On this area it has a bearing. Make sure you put enough oil and grease on that area. And this thing was actually your automatic engagement for these sections, and it has like a really tiny spring on that area, and you have to be careful. And I will give you some kind of tips about this spring. It has like a two section of legs. One leg is a little bit longer than the other, so which one we go on the top and which one go on the bottom. The long leg was actually go on the top, and the short one go on the bottom if you try to install this spring back, you know what I mean. All right, done. Okay, we will start assembling this area. Just put like a thin coating of grease, and also on this part just a tiny coating. Don't forget your O-ring. Put a little bit oil. Just remember guys, if you try like tight a screw on the section, make sure it's a little bit different. It was actually counterclockwise, just enough snug the screw, don't too tight, don't. If you try install this section, make sure the edge, like this section, it fits right. Make sure it sit it sit properly, and this edge fits right. Then we go to the drag washer. How to install drag washer correctly. Make sure this area dry. Don't put any grease on this area, only on this area. See, That's how you install the docking. If you try install this gear before the docking, you might find difficulty to install this docking. Always install on the same time, you know what I mean. Make sure this area is dry. Don't put any grease on this area. Then put your carbon drag washer, just enough, small tiny drag washer please on that area. Make sure you use a correct like a grease for your drag washer. You can googling or read your manual what type of grease for your drag washer. Don't put too much, just enough to coating like that. Then you put inside like that. All right, on these sections it has like tiny clicker like that. Okay, if you accidentally like falling off that, there's a trick how to put that clicker back easily. I usually just use grease and put inside that hole just like that, and take your clicker and put it back. So it's like a glue, so even you like try make your gear upside down like this, it won't fall off, because if you're losing this, you still can use your rail perfectly, but the excitement when your drag been pulling, it's gone. So yeah, don't lose that thing. Make sure inside this it's dry. You don't want put any grease inside this area. Same on this area. You can put a grease outside this perimeter, but not inside. That's the pro tip from me. Make sure the inside it's dry, otherwise you might facing your drag not biting enough. Okay, make sure the inside is dry. Okay. Okay, just enough, don't put too much. Make sure you put your drag washer and your metal washer accordingly. Use your manual guide as a guideline. Okay. Don't put any grease on these sections. Make sure it's dry. Okay, on this metal washer, it has like a, I'll show you, like a curve and like a ledge. On the edge of this washer, it has like a 1 2 3 4 and a cutting edge like this. And make sure your cutting edge is on your clicker, and all the ledge go inside this hole. See, that's how you install that thing. Okay, you go for your plastic clicker. Okay, if you take a closer look, this plastic clicker also has like a marking. Make sure the marking go on that hole sections. Okay, put just a tiny coating of drag grease. Make sure this part is dry, especially the inside. You can put a grease on the outside, but the inside, make sure it's completely dry. Okay, pay attention guys. On this section also has like a cutting edge. Make sure the cutting edge go on that whole sections. See, if you install it correctly, it will sit really nice, just like that. See, it sit really nice. Make sure this cutting edge sit perfectly. Otherwise, when you tie all the drag, it won't fit really nice. Alright guys, we're done on these sections, and then we go for this part. This was actually the pinion gear. It's like a main part on your rail. Make sure you won't damage this gear, because if you damage this gear, you might facing a really bad cranking on your rail. Alright guys, I will teach you how to install this pinion gear easily so you won't mess up. Make sure you put the gear inside this thing and put just a little bit grease so it will stick together, so it will make it easier to install it. just like that. So you can put enough grease on that area. Don't forget your spring. This is a pro tips from me, guys. Don't try put too much grease on your pinion gear, because I've seen a guy before, a guy is servicing a rail on YouTube. They put too much grease on on his pinion gear. Yeah, you can still using your rail perfectly, but eventually it will ruin your free spool, especially for a guy who love casting the rail. Enough screw. All right, we're done on the sections. Okay. Okay, just put a tiny coating of grease on the sections. Don't put too much. Okay, if your bearing inside, main shaft bearing got failure, how to remove this bearing, you have to put a little bit WD-40 on this pin and slowly push that pin out, but make sure you don't damage the main shaft, because this thing is really sensitive. If you try scratch or bend it, it eventually will make your spool winding really weirdly. So yeah, you have to be careful on these sections. And on these sections, it has he has like a C-clip, and if you want to open the C-clip, make sure you put your thumb, like I said before, and slowly push these two edge sections evenly. And if you want to try to install it back, the simple method that I always use is I use my split ring pliers and slowly give a good pressure like that, and put the C-clip on the place like that. Right, just put enough grease to prevent the rusting, and put just a tiny oil on the sections. Right, we're done on the sections. Okay, we will start to assembling these sections. Don't forget these bushings. Just enough to coating. Alright, pay attention, guys. This bushing has like a ledge. Make sure the tiny leg or ledge go inside that hole. Alright, we'll be assembling this area. Make sure all the components sit perfectly like that. can put your screw back. I don't have a magnet, but it's really nice if you can put like a magnet on the edge of your screwdriver, so you can pick all the screw easily. All right, put just a little bit oil on this area. Put a tiny grease inside that area. Okay, be careful install this clip. Make sure you put your thumb to secure, and take something blunt like this screwdriver and slowly put that edge back. Make sure it's set properly, and can put grease outside this area and on this area, and take the knob. Okay, don't forget put a little bit oil on this bearing. The beauty of this rail, guys, it has so much bearing. I mean, like, so much. That's the reason why this rail really well known with the smoothness. It's like butter. Okay, just like your bearing inside this. Okay, just like that. Okay, this is a crucial part, guys. Pay attention. It has like a two small copper washer. After put your bearing, put these two copper washer inside first, because if you put like a one and then you put the other one on the wrong sections, it will ruin a feels of your cranking. Yes, you can still cranking your rail, but it feels not right. So you put these two tiny copper washers. Okay, and this washer, the metal washer, if you put like a pay attention much, it was actually not flat. It's not like a flat, it's a little bit curved like that. And if you take a close looks, see, it a little bit curved like that. And how to install that, make sure it facing like that. I mean, this one a washer and this one washer facing like that, and you install in your these sections like that. Make sure this copper wash I mean like this metal washer facing each other. It's really crucial, because if you install that wrong way, like this or that, you still have no problem. It's just feel not right, and once you tight your drag, it can lose itself. Like the pressure can be losing, you can losing the pressure of your drag, and you might be facing like, wow, what just happened? I just tied my drag and it losing itself. So yeah, you have to pay attention on this metal washer. Make sure it facing like that. Then put your bigger copper washer, just enough grease. Then this nut, just okay. These are tips how to install this thing. Make sure the flat surface go down and this surface, the cutting surface, on the top. Okay, enough. And don't forget the spring, and put a tiny coating of grease on that spring so it won't rust. Make sure your spring sit on the cutting section like that. This thing has a clicker inside this, but how to open your clicker, it's same like how to open your it has like a this part like a secure sections. You simply like pop these two things and put your thumb around this area so it won't fly away, and it has a click inside this. Make sure it's set properly. Washer first. Put like a tiny coating of grease, just like that. Put like a slightly coating inside this area. Take your bolt, make sure it's counterclockwise. If you try to tight this thing. Alright guys, if you take a closer look, this thing has like a dot. 1, 2, 3, like a dot 4. It was actually a marking for this bolt. Means if you try install this cap, the protection cap, you must make sure your hexagon edge on your bolt facing any of this dot, you know what I mean, so it will make easier to install this cap. Make sure it's on the marking and try put this cap back. See, it's set perfectly. So you just put your screw back. Alright guys, before we ending this video, okay, this is which is the last component that we will install in our rail, which is the handlebar. Alright guys, you have to pay more attention on these things because while you're jigging or fishing, these things will constantly moving, which is you try your best not doing any mistakes or an error while installing this part. Alright guys, If you look it on my palm right now, this thing has like a two copper washer, a small copper washer, like a 3 screws, and handle cover, and 2 ball bearing, which is, if you take a close looks, this thing has same like a diameter or width, but the inside hole a little bit different. One bearing is like taller than the other one. All right, I will show you how to install this thing. All right, first put a little bit grease on the handle, not too much, enough, just like a thin coating, and then put the copper washer. First copper washer, then the second one. It's mean both copper washer go on the same place at the same time. Then take the shorter ball bearing with like a huge or big hole in it, then go inside. Put a little bit oil on that bearing, just a tiny drop. Then take your handle, take a little bit grease, right, install your handle. All right, take another ball bearing, which is the tallest one, with a small hole in it, put inside. Take any blunt surface like this one, like the end of your brush. Okay, slowly tap the bearing inside that hole. Make sure it sits firmly and flat. Okay, take the screw, don't too tight, guys, enough just snug like that. Take the cap, make sure this point go on the lower side. Take the screw, all right, there you go. Okay, we will install this area. Put your spool back, make sure it sits properly. Alright guys, this is a tips how you install on these two sections. Make sure the rail is facing in front of you. I mean like this. Make sure it's facing in front of you. See? And hold it, this spool, with your thumb, and try put this thing, I mean the main shaft, on that pinion gear carefully. Don't it feels any resistance, stop it and do a double checking. Make sure everything is feels right. And then if you like feel like it's really hard to connecting, just wiggle this spool back and forward until everything fits right, like this one. See, it fits like there is no resistance at all, just like perfect. so it means you install it right. You can hold it like this together and then start spool it. There is no resistance and it's smooth like a butter, mean you install it the right way. Okay, put all the screw back. All right, this is a pro tips from me, guys. Every time you try to tight all this screw, make sure you do like a pad, like a star pattern. Okay, this is what I always did every time I done assembling all my reel. What I will see first, I will checking the audio engagements for this reel. Make sure it's feel right. Don't put any don't tight your, make sure the drag is loose. Don't give like a too much drag. Just make sure the drag is loose and try make sure the engagement is connecting perfectly. All the connecting feels right. You know if something not right, you can feel it. To be honest, you can feel it if something not right. If you feel something like not used to, like not the way it used to be, it means something happened in your reel. Go disassembling all the parts. Go take a closer look and go get your manual and do examinations. Make sure everything feels right. Don't ever try go fishing with a gear that feels not right. That's a pro tips for me, guys. Okay, then we're checking the free spool. Make sure you tight this, then you lose this, and make sure the free spool is feel right. See, there is no resistance at all. And when you tight this tension up, the free spool eventually stop. Then we try put your clicker. Make sure it feels really smooth. Make sure it feels really snug and smooth. There is no resistance at all. So you can give like a pressure. Then going fast. Make sure it feels right. See, guys, if you install it correctly, how smooth your reel can be. See, even your handle can turn freely. And if you try, see how smooth your reel can be if you install correctly. Put your clicker on. Make sure the clicker is sound nicely and turn it off. Okay, this is tips to know if your drag washer installed correctly. Try pulling your drag. Make sure it feels really tight. Make sure the drag is bite really nice. And if you try locking your drag, it's really hard to pull. But be careful, guys. Don't cutting your hand because this line can be really sharp. So be careful. Make sure the clicker sound is working properly. See? You can hear the clicker sounds. Okay, guys, it means all the component is installed correctly. Oh, I almost forgot. If you lock your rail, your line eventually will lock. Your spool eventually will lock, and see, that's mean the the locking mechanism working properly. Alright guys, that's how you install your rail and servicing your rail the professional style. I'm not professional, but that's how the pro does, you know. I mean, if you like this video guys, don't forget to hit the like button, and it will be nice if you subscribe my channel, because I'm still far beyond to being monetized, and I hope you guys can help me on that one. I'm so sorry guys if my video is, you know, lame, not cool, but you know, I'm still a new guys on the blog, so I'm still learn how everything this thing works. And yeah, I'm so sorry guys if I did any mistake. Please leave comment below if you have any suggestion on me, or you want me do more review or more servicing rail video like this one, because I have like a bunch of rail, to be honest. And yeah, it will be nice if I can make video like this. But make sure guys, you subscribe my channel, share this videos, because it can be helpful to other person, maybe especially for a beginner. And yeah, I love you all. Thanks for watching. Like always guys, keep calm and let the drag screaming. Yeah.